The first American ship that burns might not be hit by a missile you see coming. It's the mine you never mapped. If the US actually invaded Iran, the first week wouldn't be about victory. It would be about visibility. Choke points, sensors, and delay mechanisms decide tempo before tanks ever roll. Power looks overwhelming until the battlefield becomes opaque. Iran's anti-access web doesn't need to win. It just needs to slow, scatter, and exhaust. On paper, US technology dominates. In practice, geography, density, and time punish shortcuts. The surface story is firepower. The hidden story is repair cycles, bottlenecks, and oil flows. Ahead, baseline force balance, first shocks, the feedback loops that break plans, the escalation ladder, and what the world looks like after. And the one mechanism everyone underestimates, the speed at which the world runs out of slack. Iran is big, mountainous, and urbanizing. Distance and elevation multiply friction. Any US ground push needs long, exposed supply lines or airborne bridges vulnerable to attrition. Iran distributes missiles and radars in rough ground, absorbing strikes and reappearing. US air superiority is real, but it rides on tankers, electronic warfare, and days of suppression work. Sorties scale with fuel and crews, not slogans. Every hour needs parts, crews, and permissions. In 1988, the US dismantled assets quickly at sea, but that was limited, not a cross-country invasion. In 2003, cities didn't fall quiet. They became problems that multiplied. In 2019, a precise strike on oil processing moved global prices within hours. Small teams, big effects. Every added mile to target steals sorties from the day. Mine clearance is linear, patient, and public. It turns momentum into a schedule. Ground logistics compress into choke points that one IED can close for a day. Sea lift and access are not optional. They're the war, and coalition nerves control airfield doors. One no can shrink the sky. The opening move is suppression. Radars blinded, air defenses hunted, runways cratered. But every strike creates movement. Mobile launchers scatter into neighborhoods and wadis. Swarm boats and drones flood the littorals, hunting tankers and tugboats first, warships later. Layered hits are cheaper than armor. Insurance cancels before steel sinks. Traffic slows to convoys, then halts where lanes narrow. Clearance dictates commerce. Pipelines cannot absorb a closure. The math is public. The panic is automatic. Prices jump on rumor, then jump again on risk premiums, then jump on actual supply loss. Cyberfires chase logistics, ports, rail schedulers, and refinery valves, quietly slowing everything. Proxies open side fronts. Each one soaks air defense missiles you needed somewhere else. The home front hears it in delays and prices before it sees it on the news. By week's end, momentum competes with maintenance. The clock is no longer friendly. High tempo strains the fleet first, not the foe. Bearings don't care about speeches. Each extra % of suppression costs double. That's the trap doors opening. And the minds wait, patient as time. If this breakdown helps you see the moving parts, hit like and subscribe. It pushes serious analysis further. Drop a comment with the one mechanism people miss most. Your angle might guide our next scenario. Close the strait and a loop starts. Fewer ships mean fewer eyes, which means more danger per ship. Convoys reduce random hits but turn into targets with schedules. Cycle time becomes the price of gasoline 3 continents away. Precision is expensive in both dollars and calendar. Stocks deplete faster than procurement refreshes. If resupply lags by weeks, target lists must shrink or risks must grow. Maintenance backlogs distort sortie math before enemies do. Urban density dilutes targeting. You can find a launcher or you can avoid civilian harm, rarely both quickly. Shelters, decoys, and tunnels turn a day of strikes into a week of searches. Narratives travel faster than armor. One bad video can redraw diplomatic maps. Pressure pushes outward. Bases, ports, grids, and shipping become negotiable targets. Air defenses saturate on quantity, not quality. Cheap aerial threats force expensive interceptions. We've seen saturation logic before. Volume can outrun precision for a time. Democracies hear cost signals fast. Fuel lines and markets bend war plans. If corridors open, tempo rises. If not, each day becomes more expensive than the last. Soon, the war runs on permissions more than missiles. A ground push faces passes and towns that can stall brigades with a single culvert blown. Clearance time grows non-linearly with caution, and caution grows with cameras. Medical evacuation cycles set the pace of courage. When dust stops birds, plans wait. Mine countermeasures are brave, slow, and public. Each lane open must be kept open. Defenses run out by success. The better they work, the faster they empty. Ports catch up on damage at human speed. Welding, dredging, reinspection. Escalation touches the nuclear file. Disruption can push risk perceptions toward worst case. Striking guarded facilities poses legal, moral, and strategic costs that echo. Retaliation ladders can be climbed quickly, then descended slowly. Domestic bandwidth is finite. Inflation and basing politics crowd every agenda. A few niche allies, tankers, minesweepers, suddenly control the pacing function. Even tankers need gas, sleep, and spares. The backbone gets tired first. Occupy or coerce. One path bleeds time into streets, the other into repeated strikes and sanctions work. A pause can reset targets, but it also gifts the defender adaptation time. By now, the war is less about steel and more about system stamina. Shock forces new routes and reserves burn. Some pipelines gain leverage forever. Backlogs become budgets. Insurance lines price future wars into every barrel. Doctrine shifts toward countermining, endurance logistics, and decoy detection. Air defense rebalances from exquisite interceptors to layered attrition. Costs don't end with ceasefires. Debt and distrust become standing armies of their own. New pacts appear, not out of friendship, but out of learned vulnerability. The human ledger outlasts the headlines. Repair is methodical. Confidence returns slower than concrete cures. Normalization is a slope, not a switch. And the next generation will plan around the bottlenecks we revealed. Here's the hidden governor. Not enemy strength alone, but the sum of frictions that cap tempo. Push one dial and another overheats. Systems resist sustained extremes. Wars flip at thresholds, when underwriters balk, or when the magazine says no. Even in the late 1980s, convoys and mines dictated tempo more than pure firepower. In 1991, logistics made victory possible. The lesson was infrastructure, not just armor. Today, low-cost aerial volume stresses high-cost defense at scale. Slide the scenario dial and watch cost and spillover rise faster than gains after a point. The paradox: the more you try to control, the less the system lets you move. Success depends on prerequisites built years ahead. Otherwise, the war decides your options. When things go wrong here, they go wrong everywhere at once. That's the hidden cost. Enjoy scenario design without the noise? Tap subscribe and ring the bell. Stay with the mechanisms, not the hype. Hit like and tell us how you'd compare this to past wars. What mechanism changed the most? Invasions fail when they treat oceans like highways and cities like fields. Systems have memories and teeth. The smartest plan is the one that respects the governor we can't see. Time, risk, and repair. What scenario should we explore next? Share your ideas below. You've been watching IfVerse, where imagination meets possibility. See you in our next reality. Thanks for watching.